I think today what I'm like, I thought about many things I could talk about, but then at the end of the day is like, all I could bring to you is like who I am and how I find my creative practice. So that's basically what I'm gonna talk today, and also like how I went from, how I flipped my switch, like how I went to a life without meaning to a very creative life. This presentation was made with AI, with everything. I've tried to have a different format. And I grew up in São Paulo, in Brazil. And I went from a career of a digital producer. I worked in tech for like almost 10 years to a motion designer and audiovisual artist. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about this transition and my change of perspectives through life. And some of my passions are like making music, singing, and experimenting with the new. Am I speaking too loud, too like low? Perfect? Okay, cool. So right now I've been working with like motion design and audio visuals, so like events, like stage visuals, like films, ads, and yeah, some like immersive experiences. And right, so I'm a 90s kid, like, and I was born in São Paulo, and then I grew up, and then I was always very creative. I was going to theaters, choirs, but then after I started uni, I kind of stopped a little bit of everything, and then I did my first exchange in New York. Then I went to live in Budapest and got my first tech job, and then I moved to San Francisco for a little while. I moved to Australia, I went to Berlin, and now I'm in Stockholm. And I think for me, change was always exciting, but it was also because I was always searching for something, and I thought I could find that in the next place. But then the more I got to know myself, I was like, I need to change stuff that is closer to me. Like I cannot just move to a place just to experience, like just to find what I'm missing. So then I tried changing career, not really careers, but tried to change a little bit the roles that I was working with to see if there was something that would like tick, or I don't know. Then I went like from working at Contact, and then as a digital consultant, a digital producer, which I thought would be like, okay, I'm gonna stop here. And then I couldn't find, like I couldn't like really, didn't feel like waking up in the morning like to go to a place to do that. So I was working as a digital producer, and they asked me like to extend my contract, and it was the first time in my life where I said no, like to something that was like, okay, I cannot stay without work. I just said no. I was like no. And then I realized I needed to figure out what I was gonna do next. So I took 6 months for myself, and I was like, I always wanted to do my own music, and I'm gonna do that. But I didn't know how to like produce music. I always just singed. So I went to a course, a school, and then they were like, yeah, you're gonna be able to make like one track, maybe not finished. But I managed to finish 4 tracks in that year, and I put an EP together. And it was the most magical process of my life, because it went from being, I don't know what I'm gonna write about, to like I don't know, everything was connecting. I feel like the more creative you get, the more you start putting that practice into your day-to-day, things start connecting. Even if you don't know what you're gonna talk about, the more you get into it, the more things start like, you start having ideas, you get inspired by things, you kind of open this kind of switch on your mind, and then, I don't know, it's magic. I highly recommend like choosing something that you're really passionate about, just doing a project. Like if you don't work as a creative, like you're probably here because you are a creative. And like, so like find that what ticks, and then make a project for yourself. Like you work for other people like almost every day, like why not start by doing that? And then I think as a creative, our gift is to bring our perspectives to the world by sharing what we know and our skills, and give other people to do the the same. And even if they don't feel they're as creative, when they see what you make, they probably will think about something. So that's why we listen to music sometimes, or we go to museums, right? Like, we want to like feel something. We want, I don't know. And I think as creatives, we also have that power to give that to people. So if I haven't done this project, if I haven't finalized, I wouldn't have met people alike. I wouldn't know that I wanted to make visuals for my music, because everything, I had all these music videos ideas in my head, but I couldn't really make them because I also didn't know how to make visuals. I also learned a new language that speaks to me by doing this. What I mean is, like, I could go now to a studio and talk to a producer, a thing that I couldn't do before. So the more you get into something that you like, you're going to develop also like a new language. Also, by taking this time to do that, I kind of found my voice, my style, and I realized that I'm not a person, even though I'm here talking to you, like, I'm not a person that is like a word, like, I cannot express myself in words. If someone asks me, how was your vacation? I'm gonna say, great, I think. And then, but like, I don't know. And then if you ask me to write a song about, or if you make visuals about my vacation, then I feel like I could express more about how I was feeling. Because for me, everything is about a feeling. But this is also me personally. Like, this is my personality. So right now I'm in this process of like living a creative life, bringing more creativity to my life, because I felt that this brought me so much energy from just doing that. I felt like I had superpowers, and like I developed a new relationship with time. I don't wait for Friday. I don't wait for Monday. Every day is like a day that I kind of like, I want to be working on something, because work, it's not like it doesn't feel like work. It's still work, but it's like, I don't know. It's just like, I'm always excited. And I try to balance my schedule to have things that makes me excited and the things that like are not as exciting. But if I don't have that excitement during my week, then I feel like I get low in energy. And I also think, and I really value this in like artists and other creatives, is like authenticity. When you can find like your own thing that you can, I don't know, express yourself with. And then, I don't know, it could be the colors you use, the texture you use. If you bake cakes, it could be like the details you put or the ingredient. It could be anything. Like, creativity doesn't come, I'm talking about visuals and music because this is me, but like, you probably have your own way to be creative during your day. Right, and then also, like that imposter syndrome, but like, I try, every time I get stuck, I try to embrace acceptance of like, okay, where I am versus where I want to be. But I also try like to put, I'm a very idealistic, so I'm always like floating. But the more I float, the more I get lost. So I sometimes have to be grounded and see, okay, this is where I am. But I also try to look back. Oh, this is where I was like 3 months ago. And then I see how much I progressed. And then you get more excited, because if you just see where you want to go, you will never start. Like, yeah, there was so many moments where like I didn't even try something, just because I was like, I'm not gonna be famous or go viral, so I better like not start. But then I realized it's not about that. It's about living the life you want to live. And if you're a creative, and you don't have creativity in your life gets a bit hollow in a way. I don't know. At least for me, it was like that. One of my favorite quotes, this is like an artist called Okuta Kinte, and I love that he always posts these things. And I like inspirational stuff because I like to get about my day. He said, "Dear artists, don't allow the time to gaslight you. You are not behind or ahead. You are right where you are meant to be." And like, yeah, I love this graph. Like, this is like very real. And I think that what this shit is gonna be like it's a long process, and the more you get to know something, the more sometimes you can want to explore that, or actually want to completely shift, and that's also okay, and want to do something else, but you only know if you start. Yeah, and then I also had to create terms and conditions for myself, because like also living a creative life is not like gloom, and you know, there is imposter syndrome, there is like competition, then there is like a lot of things, and then at the end of the day you only need to think about what's good for you and what can you bring. So my rules are: it's okay to change my mind. When in doubt, I will trust my intuition. I do some reality checks when anxiety arises. I like to journal a lot. It's also my way of, sometimes I don't have anything in my head, like any creativity, anything, and then I just write something, and then maybe during the day I'll think something will come up, and I'll be able to work on something. Never stop learning and exploring, taking risks, and go out there, talk to people, and see things from different lenses. I think a lot of my creative work was from conversations I had with people, and then I got inspired, and I wanted either to write, make a song, make visuals, like, I don't know, but that's also how I think. And I've been merging all my passions together by working with music and visuals, so that's been kind of a process, and I'm still in this process. And I've been, like I have this, I'll call it immersive lab, like is my daily experiment, and this the most fun part of my week, this day when I try to experiment with something new. So I either try a new tool, a new technique, or I just like use AI to bring concepts to life of ideas that I have. And then I finally could make my music video that I wanted from before, because now I can make visuals. So I wanted to show you, but the problem is this might be too loud. So if we couldn't figure out the volume stuff, but yeah. Thank you. I was pretty excited when I managed to put that together. Yeah, and then I think one of my last points is like, try to bring inspirational stuff to your day-to-day life. Like, go on a date with yourself, find a nice book to read. I love The Artist's Way. That's what got me started with creativity. I love this podcast. I listen to it every time I'm on a long commute. It's like 10 minutes long. It's called Make Art, Not Content, and it's super funny. And sometimes I volunteer for events just because I want to like know new acts or see new visuals and like get along with the crew. And the journey continues. So I don't have like a closing remark or anything. Like, you know, like those modern movies nowadays, like they don't have endings anymore, like happy endings. It's just like you have to use your imagination. But I hope I started a little firecracker in a creative spark that needs to be released. And I have to say that living a creative life is fulfilling. And I can't imagine myself doing otherwise. I cannot go back to my previous, I call it previous life. It's almost like I had two lives. But like, yeah, it allows me to find purpose and meaning and to express myself in ways I couldn't otherwise. I think a lot of creatives have, like, I don't know, sometimes issues to express ourselves. And sometimes being creative is like the only way that we can be really ourselves. And yeah, we just have one life, and this is the last quote is kind of the chorus of the song that you just heard, and I wrote it like it's about, you know, you just have one life, you won't be here for too long, so just do something that you love. And yeah, thank you.